We're here right now talking with Bridgette Cameron Ridenhour, who has a new book out called Overlooked. And we are just one of the greatest things about being here and getting to meet people in all different capacities. We've got media, authors, bloggers, podcasters, and we've got you today.
And all
to
different
talk.
sizes, by the way.
I know.
So here's what you should know.
This is the real stuff.
You watching this. Now, those of you who listen, you can't see it. Those of you who watch this, what you should know is that Bridgette is actually, if you see the cover of the book, I suppose your brother on the cover is, this is true to form. This is true height.
This is, yes.
So
True height,
you're actually a very petite, shorter lady.
I am. I'm feeling very tall and strong.
And we are missing chairs.
We put you on we literally stood you on a box, and now you tower over us. So I don't want people to think that you're a giant woman.
I'm only 4'11".
Really?
And so my husband will fight me on that statement. But yeah, so I'm actually on
we're on a crate. We're good.
A crate.
So the book is called Overlooked, and I think everybody kind of obviously understands that a couple of your siblings in particular are pretty well-known household names from their television years.
Yeah.
Is that the impetus for the title?
It's really a story of a memoir of myself growing up in a family of two famous siblings. And what people really don't know is that when my mom finally agreed to take us to a Hollywood agent, she really was taking the four of us there, but really kind of pursuing it for me. I was the little performer in the family. Okay. I did all the musicals, the plays, things like that. Candace was so young at the time, and Kirk really wasn't into it. But that day that we met with that agent, she ended up taking my three siblings and not me. I didn't get chosen that day, which was a complete shock to my mom. And as a mother, you can understand the heartache for your child that wants something so badly and they don't get chosen, but now they have to watch their siblings grow up and do all the things that they want to do. And so Overlooked is really just a story of my life in growing up with them in Hollywood, and just how God had such a plan and a purpose in my life. And how, I was feeling overlooked. I was feeling like, God, did you forget about me? Did you overlook me? How come you're not opening the doors that I so wanted to be a performer in the industry? And how come you're not allowing that for me to happen? And, I share stories, personal stories.
May I ask you about your family, your parents, just because I know that faith is the constant streamline through all of you, obviously, deep faith. Were you raised that way? And what would you say to parents? We talk to parents on this show. How, if that's true, that your parents raised you that way, how did they do it successfully, in your view?
Well, I will tell you, we did not come from a Christian home.
Okay.
There was no faith in our home, no religion in our
Now,
home.
that surprised me. Didn't know that.
Not.
Okay.
Yeah, most people, they will think, oh gosh, this Cameron family was raised this way. No, we were not. My dad's parents were atheists. My dad was an atheist. My mom knew Christ as a little girl. We went to church on Christmas and Easter. Okay. That's when we went to church as a family. And so it wasn't until Kirk, in the height of his career as one of the most famous teen heartthrobs of that time, he was dating a girl that brought him to church for the first time, and he heard the gospel for the very first time, and he drove home, and he thought, if I were to die today, I wouldn't be going to heaven. Of all the things, all the good things that I was doing, I wouldn't be going to heaven. And so Kirk really pursued that, kept going to church, kept learning about God and who Jesus was and the good news. And he started sharing that with us as a family. His character on Growing Pains started changing of things he would do and wouldn't do.
Right.
And Kirk and I are only 10.5 months apart. We're like Irish twins, I guess. So
he talked to you about this.
Yes,
and we wasn't parents.
No, focused. It was Kirk who started planting those little seeds just by talking and sharing, never just shoving it in our faces or whatever, but asking if we wanted to go to church. And because Kirk and I are so close, I respect him, I love him, and anything that he believes is right, he researches, he asks questions, he does all of that. And if he says, Bridgette, this is good, then I want that because I trust my brother. And I couldn't go to my parents. I couldn't go to my mom or my dad to really ask these questions because they didn't even really know. So it just kind of, just snowballed. And
you know what I love about it?
That's super powerful.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm dying to know when you're talking about being raised in a home really devoid of that, and you guys catch fire.
Yeah.
Are you speaking to your parents about it? How do they receive it as parents? This is kind of, you usually don't hear it this way. So are your parents listening? Are they interested? Are they arm's length?
Yeah, well, of course my mom was, because she knew Christ as a little girl. Yeah. But my dad was a school teacher for 35 years. And so being a teacher, he had a lot of questions. So he would go to Kirk. Again, the same thing. Kirk was starting to become very knowledgeable. And so my dad would ask a lot of questions, but he was still very hesitant. So we all eventually, accepted Christ. My dad was the very last one because he just had questions.
Which I think is okay.
Absolutely.
Analytical guy.
Yes, very, very much so. And so, he finally, we didn't know this, but my dad actually did finally accept Christ. My brother got to baptize him at a men's retreat. Wow. So to think here, my brother who used to pick on me and tease us girls and get us in trouble, brought us all to the Lord. And it's just so amazing because even though God chose our family to be in the dark world of Hollywood and we didn't know who Christ was, Christ still had his hand and his hedge of protection over our family because he knew how he was going to use us in all of this. Amen. And little did I ever think and see and, comprehend that I would be writing a book. I would be going across the United States and speaking at women's conferences and conventions and things like that, and meeting you and just giving hope to people out there that might have felt how I felt as a child, and just knowing God has such a plan and a purpose for everyone, even at a young age. Yeah. Moms and dads that have young kids out there that might be struggling, like, God, what do you want my child to do? Or God, what do you want me to do? I just encourage to just let the Lord lead and open those doors, but never stop realizing our plan and our purpose here is to be in the will of God.
Yes.
Which is far beyond anything. It's beyond church. It's beyond school. Yeah. It's beyond it's just, that to me is the most powerful thing of all, because once you have that, I think it does permeate everywhere else.
Absolutely.
Do you have kids, Bridgette?
I do.
How many?
I have 3 children. Well, I should say I have 4 children. I have 3 here, beautiful children on earth. I have 1 daughter that's in heaven. And I share that story also of my miscarriage in my book, which is another powerful story. But yes, our oldest son, Cameron, which is kind of ironic. People say you can't have a son named Cameron because then it's Cameron. And I'm like, no, I'm married.
I'm married, so it is not that.
It's not that. But my oldest son, Cameron, is 22. Our son, Everett, is 20. And our daughter, Reese, will be 18 next month.
So how did you raise them? That's what we want to know as Christian parents who are trying to influence our own kids, and as people who listen and consider, what do we do with our kids who maybe are in public school right now?
Well, and you referenced you said the dark force, this dark culture, this dark force.
Yeah. What do you advise parents to do?
Oh my goodness. Just, obviously, just keeping them in church, getting them in a good group of friends that will lift you up spiritually, emotionally. And, for us, it was, our oldest son, Cameron, all of our kids went to public school for quite some time, but at one point we did notice that Cameron was definitely falling behind in school. It just was not for him. So we made the tough decision to pull him out of public school, put him in a private Christian school where he flourished, where other people, come on, as parents, it takes an army to raise children,
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's like, you've got to have everybody feeding them the word or being a good influence and making sure that their friends are, these friends and families that are also going to spiritually teach your children and speak into them.
Can you explain that flourishing when you said he got to Christian school and flourished? How so?
Oh my gosh, like the classroom sizes were smaller.
Okay.
He didn't feel so far behind if he couldn't keep up in public school. Public school, there's like 40 plus kids in a classroom and he's in the back waving the white flag going, I'm so lost. Whereas private school, you had maybe 10, 12 kids in a classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and if he had questions, he wasn't afraid to ask. And then he's, learning what works for him. Is it visually? Is it, audibly? Is however it works for him. Just started making great friends. Other teachers at the school just being mentors to him and speaking to him. And it was just like it was just a different light.
It is a different
and
environment.
And they're learning God's word in Bible class.
So you'd advise exploring it, is your point?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be honest. I tried homeschooling, just was not for me.
But your sister,
my sister Melissa, oh my goodness. My sister Melissa has 5 children. And she homeschools all of them. The oldest is a senior, and the youngest is like in 1st or 2nd grade.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, I laugh when I say this, but I'm serious. My nieces and nephews from Melissa's family, they literally could own a business and run it themselves.
Amazing.
Yes.
Because the things that she has taught them through home educating that you don't learn in school now, they're just so incredibly smart and educated, and it's amazing. And it's just, Melissa's amazing.
Which is, again, I think that's I just love your title, because I don't believe God is missing anybody anywhere, but we always have that tendency to feel like it. And I think you're showing that he's not, and not within your family, not within your sister, brother's family. They're all doing what they need to do. It's for the kingdom, but it's in all different ways. And I think that is probably what we talk about the most, is all these varieties.
Your sister Melissa teaching 5 kids, that's busy enough. And the rest of the 3 of you are actively touring, promoting, doing shows, writing books.
All in your own.
Did you imagine that as
Yeah.
kids? I mean, when you were talking to your brother Kirk about Christianity, now today you 3 are basically evangelicals, aren't you? I mean, you're evangelizing.
No, I didn't. And that's why I say, why did God pick us?
Or why did he not pick you back then? Why were you not picked?
Yeah, and I really think that if God gave me what I wanted, the desires of that I wanted, I don't know if I would be here.
You'd be one of those true Hollywood stories or something, maybe.
Exactly.
They don't end well.
Thank goodness that you're not.
Right.
Because we need this more than we need
that.
Right. Yeah. And as much as I wanted it so badly, obviously God knows better. And, but I think about, and this is just for me personally, if God had given me all those desires, okay, Bridgette, I'm going to have you touring. I'm going to have you doing this. I mean, I auditioned for the Los Angeles traveling musical of The Wizard of Oz. I mean, I was going to be on tour for over a year, and I wanted it so badly. But for me, I think if he had opened those doors for me, I would have might have missed out on the most important moments of my life. And that is being a mom of my kids. And I'm going to get emotional because just that time that I got to be with them spiritually and moments in their life where they needed me, I was there. And I don't ever want to miss those moments.
Sure.
And so now my children are grown.
Right.
And now God's going, it's your time.
And here you are.
It's your time.
On shows like ours.
I love it.
Love your passion.
Yes.
Love your work, your entire family. What an inspirational story. Bridgette, thank you so much for coming.
We're so pleased to be able to do this. This was such a good
by the way, can she step down off the crate so everybody can see? What do you actually look like? Just step back there a minute. Yeah, just there. Can you see her? Yeah, here, walk right here. Look at that. That's Bridgette. Thanks, Bridgette.
Thank you.